Alright, last week we did routing of the AngularJS, so we got the main menu. If you recall, the items have different route. Let me see if I can bring that up. Yes. Okay, here is the routing. If you notice, I have added one little item than what we did last time. Last time we had items, and that was directing to the items. From here we go to the items. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one more route where when item ID is selected, I'm going to send it to items detail page. So let's go to the items page. If you recall that when I said the hello Gandhi message, the message was here. So, and the items, I'm going to call the HTTP call to the alpha server, and the alpha server is going to return items. So I'm going to post the items in the items page. So in order to see the here is call here, you'll see that here is the call that we did. This is the call that we are using the server's name at the port, and the items control. We are calling the item with a scope, passing on to the scope and to the HTTP call. And the HTTP call will get from the server alpha blog directory items callback FIW. When it is successful, the response item will contain scope items and response if that's equal to the response items. This is what we are going to do. This is all that is needed. Once this is successfully done, then we can break it down into different items that we can do it. And then we are going to apply the bootstrap so that it looks prettier. So let's see how it looks when we do it. Okay, with the items control here, that's the way it is. Here, when we do call, the items come back. The whole data that we are asking for will come back as a JSON object. You can see it's an array that starts with here, goes on all the way down and the ends it, and it contains ID, brand, description, and the unit price. I'm using version 11 where the data is single quoted in alpha for some reason. It should be double quoted, so I have converted that into double quote. So it looks plenty of information. We are going to make this better looking. So let's see this version where I'm going to make this a table. I have written that separately here. If I take this, because now the items can be converted into a tabular form, tables, and then I'll see how it looks like. If you see that, now we took the same data and reformatted that to look in a table form. We are now displaying it as a brand and description. Again, it looks very bland. So we are going to display now in a much better version where we are going to make the table prettier. So we're going to do it here. So let's see how that looks. See, it looks a lot better, and you can actually see an alternate shading, and I also added a search box. Okay, the search box, let's go take a look at the search box here, items, HTML. You see the search box? The ng model is item name. This is a two-way binding character. When you write an item name, it automatically filters on the table. You see this here? ng repeat. X in the items, I'm using the filter, item name. This is what I'm going to apply. And it filters the item name here, the whole ID description. In alpha, if you want to filter brand, you have to have a column that is filter brand. And you have to have a description, you have to have a control description. And then in the search, you can have filter by either brand or description. Or you could have a calculated field that combines the brand and description, and then you can search that as the brand description as a separate field. In Angular, it automatically, the combination of this and this is what is being searched. So if you want to search blind mouse, you can blind mouse here, or you can get it there. Sorry, blind mouse, you can do it here, blind mouse, or I'm gonna take it out, or if you put it on a Merlot here, it will come back too. See, blind mouse comes up. So you'll be able to search either in the description or the name in the search box without any additional additional boxes. Okay, now that we have a beautifully displayed table, we want to see the detailed description. We have made this as the link. When we made the link, the ID is what? Let's see, where did I do it? Yeah. If you see, here, if you see, I have H reference A and items XID, the brand from the ID, we are going to call the detail one. So how are we going to call that? Here is the controller for the detail. The ng control item detail control takes that ID and then calls the HTTP call. So how it is going to look like, here is the alpha detail control. The XID is going to be passed down here as a parameters. So the detail control, scope, route parameters, and HTTP. These parameters is being passed on from the item called here. When this sends the scope item ID, the scope item ID is passed down as a parameters to the HTTP call, and the response item comes as a single item. So let's go see that one. Here, I'm going to go back home. I refresh the page, make sure everything is working. Here is the item that comes, and then I'm going to go see here, and the item detail, all of them here. Go back here. I'm going to search for somebody. Click on that, and you can see the description, everything is here. Go back here just to change it to something else because it is matching properly. So we're gonna go here. See, it comes up. Why did I do that one? I have to select the proper one. So you can see with AngularJS, you can actually call the Alpha server and get the data and display it as a list. And then by clicking on the link, you can call the Alpha server again and get the detailed description and display that as a description. Here, the reason why I am doing call every time is it is easier to bring a small chunk of data. It takes a loading faster as opposed to bringing a large amount of data, entire table, and bring it on one time, and then use that table over and over again. For me, it's not easy. For me, it is easier to make a double calls to the server and bring a few data, and then call back and bring as much data as possible needed to display. See, we are using it. We are primarily interested in using in the phone and tablet. We don't want to load enormous amount of data and wait for refreshing of the screen. If you think that you need all the data all the time, then my recommendation will be to load the data into the local storage and then get that local storage and display, get the data from the local storage and display without ever making a phone call, a server call to the Alpha server. That can be done. Hope you like this one. Please post any comments to the blog. I'll appreciate any recommendation. Thank you so much.